What's good, guys? I'm Dave, back with another episode of Debt Free Differently, and today I'm here to spread some hope. We're talking about how anyone, including you, can become rich. We all start at different places and have different challenges and obstacles for sure, and some paths are definitely more straightforward than others. However, building wealth is more about discipline than it is income, and that's something that's available to everyone. Every person's experience with money is unique to them, but in this video I'm going to show you how there are people making it happen and building wealth at any income level, and you can too. Let's get right into this. Let's start with the big one. More than 80% of America's millionaires are self-made. A lot of times people think that others became wealthy because they grew up in a rich family. In most cases, that's not true at all. Most millionaires don't receive a single penny from an inheritance, a trust, or an estate. In general, wealth isn't generational. It's something that people make happen on their own. About 25% of millionaires grew up with a father who was a blue-collar worker, and only 9% of millionaires' parents were senior executives, and only 3% were doctors. How great is it that there are more millionaires out there with parents who had a regular job than millionaires who had high-income earning parents? So regardless of what you do for work and how much money you had growing up, the overwhelming majority of millionaires in the United States are self-made. This is one of the many reasons why building wealth is not about circumstance, it's about you. Next, about 1 in 3 millionaires paid for their own college expenses. I left college with about $65,000 in student loan debt, and I had a negative net worth, meaning that I owed more than I owned. I worked for most of college and was on full scholarship for 1 year, but I went to a private college, and that's what happens when you don't know any better. About 42% of millionaires left college with a net worth of 0 or worse. I was one of those, and if you went to college, there's a very good chance that you were too. When you look at that number, it also shows that student loans aren't the determining factor for people to be able to build wealth. While yes, student loans can make you feel pretty poor coming out of college, but my guess is that people who have student loans actually learn a lot from them. Now, instead of feeling sorry for ourselves that we left college with student loans that our friends with college funds didn't, what if we focused on being in that very possible population of people who go on to build a lot of wealth instead? Also, if you're learning anything new in this video, please give it a thumbs up to help more people find it. When millionaires were asked what are the biggest reasons behind their financial success, 95% said being disciplined and 88% said hard work. Those are two things that are fully in your control. The typical American household has a net worth of $90,000, which isn't great. Instead of following what regular people do, if you want to become wealthy, you copy what successful people do. Your financial future is up to you, not your employer, definitely not the government, and not your family members. Also, an overwhelming percentage of people with low job satisfaction don't take intentional steps to change their situation. More often than not, they're waiting on something to happen for them instead of taking responsibility and changing something on their own. If you're willing to put in the work to change your situation, be disciplined, and delay gratification in order to make smart financial moves, you're exercising a lot of the most important character traits that millionaires have. This leads right into my next point, and one of my favorite ones: 1/3 of millionaires never made 6 figures in their entire working career. Think about that for a second. Income and wealth are not the same thing. To borrow one of my favorite lines from The Next Millionaire Next Door, income is what you bring home today, wealth is what you have tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. So maybe you're not pulling 6 figures, and maybe you never will, but a lot of millionaires never did. In fact, teachers are actually in the top 5 most common jobs for millionaires in the United States. You can absolutely work hard to make more and get to where you want to be faster, but discipline matters a whole lot more than income when it comes to building wealth. Did you have cheap parents? Good. 70% of millionaires grew up with very frugal parents. Less than 1/3 of millionaires say that their parents were better off than their friends' parents. So if your parents weren't throwing you the best birthday parties or driving the best cars in the school parking lot, that's not holding you back. Instead of being jealous of friends whose parents showered them with gifts or still support them as grown-ass adults in their 30s, your frugal parents might have actually done you a favor. Income can happen to anyone. Wealth happens to people who respect money. When you respect money, much like frugal parents do, you exercise discipline to manage your money effectively. Most children who grow up in wealthy households that don't budget or respect money often become income rich. They make a lot of money, but they never become wealthy. You know how you have that friend who you know makes more money than you, and they get money from their parents, but yet they're still doing MLMs and they're setting up GoFundMes for themselves? That could be that person. Your cheap parents are not to blame for your financial situation. They actually might have made it more likely for you to become wealthy one day. Anyone can become rich, and that includes you. Even though the media and people like to focus on income, wealth happens to people who are disciplined, plan ahead, and work really hard for it. If you like this video, please share it with a friend, give it a thumbs up, or subscribe to my channel. All of those will make my day and will help more people find this video on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Debt Free Differently.